I tried to beat Pokémon Renegade Platinum, a hard mode of Pokémon Platinum, without any knowledge of the trainer's Pokémon, with only a notepad and a dream. Welcome back to the Scrags Renegade Platinum Nuzlocke Plus. Last episode, So this episode, we're gonna start with rebuilding the team in preparation for this upcoming split. If you're new to the channel, hey, I'm Scrags, and I'm trying Pokemon exclusive content on this channel. This is my third attempt trying to beat Ren Plat blind, and I can only use the notes from previous runs to guide me through the game. If you're curious about any of the rules or any of the music I use in my videos, you can find all of that information in the description. Okay, so let's break down the Fantina split. The boss numbers only increase for this split, giving us 5 trainers to worry about. But for now, let's look at Jupiter. Jupiter's team consists of Golbat, Tangela, Sableye, and Skuntank. My last 2 attempts didn't have much of an issue with this fight, which means I don't have a lot of information on her. I would expect some sort of Dark Stab on her ace like Sucker Punch, and maybe some Fire-type coverage like it gets in Vanilla. Skuntank also gets a stat buff just like Perugly, but it's nowhere near as generous. That being said, Vanilla Skuntank already had a much higher BST than Vanilla Perugly. So, what's my strategy? Well, let's talk about Munchlax for a bit. An interesting detail about Munchlax is that it has a 100% chance of holding the leftovers item, and this detail remains consistent in Ren Plat. The tricky part is actually finding one, because he only shows up on specific honey trees. In Vanilla Platinum, you only get 3 to 4 Munchlax trees out of the 21 honey trees inside of the game, which are dependent on your trainer and secret ID number. So in short, it's random. So the area mode in the Pokédex doesn't help. Where are you? What? Fortunately, however, this system was made much more consistent in Renegade Platinum. Now Munchlax shows up on 5 honey trees with a 10% encounter rate instead of 1. And even more fortunate for us, one of these trees happened to be the one right outside the Valley Windworks. Now all I have to do is rebuild the team, and prepare adequately for the great Munchlax hunt. First, I evolved Nidorino into Nidoking, double-checked that my party didn't have any overlapping primary types, and stocked up on potions properly this time. Then I gave Thief to Shimi, brought her to a more comfortable level, and began the long and arduous process of finding a Munchlax. Oh, got it! Nice! Oh, I'm so stupid! Oh my god, I got it! And they'll never let me live it down! I'm basically spending all of my money getting freaking gacha so that I can get the SSR leftovers item. This was an expensive process though, because every time I ran out of honey to slather, I would need to go back to Floroma Meadows, and then buy some more from the vendor. I did get very lucky though, and found 3 Munchlax within about 5 minutes of speed up time. Leftovers is an incredibly useful and flexible item to have, so having 3 of them gives me a lot of recovery options that I can utilize in battle. And after my Gardenia split, I feel like I'll need all the help I can get if I want to get back to the Distortion world. But there was one more thing I wanted to get while I was backtracking, because I forgot about another gift encounter that you can get in this game. Chimchar. Unlike the other starters, I wanted to see which mon had the hidden ability, and then would pick off of that. So I just went with Sun the Chimchar and Cola the Piplup from my Gaia playthrough. Fortunately, I got lucky and Chimchar got its Iron Fist hidden ability. A really good ability for it to boost its Mach Punch and other punching moves it wants to use. I don't know, be free my child, you can learn Ice Punch if you really want that Torterra matchup down. What I didn't know was that Piplup on the other hand does not get its Vanilla Defiant ability or the competitive ability it gets from its post-Gen 9 buff. Instead it gets... Welcome to the team, son. Next, it was time to pick up my fossil encounter. I already got my fossils during the Gardenia split, so now it was up to picking which fossil I wanted to revive as my 1 fossil static. Now, Aerodactyl is a pretty enticing pick. It's naturally very fast, it has good offensive stab, it has a ground immunity, and I used it for my last run, so hey, if it ain't broke. The one reason I get this... It has a ground immunity. Back in Eterna City, I beat the grunt at the entrance. I reposition, evolve some of my mons, beat the grunts in the rest of the buildings. Oh wait, the AI is stuck! Yeah, it's still trying to glare at me, that's crazy! And get ready for my Jupiter battle. I lead with Munch and realize I immediately mess up by forgetting to give it Substitute. I lost half my health for this mistake, having been unable to dodge the confusion. But eventually Munch clutched up and landed the 1 hit he needed after enough time. I did risk a Protect Scout to see what Tangela wanted, but Munch fought through the confusion to give me the information I needed, which let me pivot into Christo for the kill. Then Sableye came out, played around the fake out, but 2 back-to-back crits forced me to pivot out of Torna into Shimi for the Ghost Mutie. Then I switched back into Munch to tank some hits and slowly whittle my way through its health. Last up is Skuntank, who even after a focus energy and the boosted night/crit rate, could not handle a couple potions and the resilience of the Munch. And by using different moves every time to play around Torment, I'm able to get through this boss fight deathless. After Jupiter, I get the secret key, which allows me to get that one room with all the Rotom forms, the TMs for both Screens and Thunderwave, some Wise Glasses, and most importantly, the static Porygon. Porygon 2 is notorious for being an incredible tank with a Violite. But even though that item is not in the game, it has still served me very well in the last run I used it. Cynthia also gave me the Togepi egg, and after checking natures and abilities, it wasn't awful. I put away the 2 gift mons, obtained the Dawnstone that Rad Rickshaw gives you instead of the bike. Okay, we got Gruntilda Graveler, and picked up my Route 206 encounter just under Cycling Road. Oh, that's not bad. 1 Gligar later. Okay, so normally I want this to be defensive. Oh, we just missed out on Poison Heal. No! I'm sure there's still some good use I can get from like Earthquake, and it's still pretty bulky. And then it was time to prepare for the next boss fight in Wait. Okay, mirror fight. I remember the line. We sub, and then we ball. After the encounter, which is Onix. This catch took me way too long with the amount of times that I needed to pivot around its dig attacks. But it didn't matter because I misclicked. You know what? F it. I didn't want it anyway. The mirror fight low-key looks like filler at a glance, but you could never feel too safe in Renegade Platinum. I didn't struggle all too hard with this fight in previous runs, which is why my notes look so empty here. There were definitely some close calls though, so I still needed to make sure I was playing it carefully. I remembered to put Substitute this time, which allows me to dodge any of Togetic's potential status moves. Then I use Protect for Leftovers recovery and for further scouting, and Munch takes the knockout with an Iron Head, giving me an insanely good position going into the rest of her team. Haunter is next, and it almost gets super dicey when it starts using Double Team. But Munch is not fazed by the Haunter's evasiveness and proceeds to land a huge Rock Slide. Haunter goes down swinging though, removing my sub before going down to an Iron Head. Next was Mira's Porygon 2. Who I had absolutely no notes for. I decided to scout for a bit and realized it doesn't have anything big to threaten me with. But I misplay anyways and watch Mira heal it with a Hyper Potion while I was stalling for Leftovers turns. Then I got super greedy by double attacking to try and regain tempo, but one lucky miss offsets that blunder and I take out the Porygon 2 here as well. Last but certainly not least was her ace Kadabra. Munch had already taken a ton of damage at this point, so I swap in Hex for the Quad Resist on Grass Knot, giving me just enough momentum to take the win. Mira calms down and lets me help her find her lost ribbon and Wait, I already did this part. There are some really good items scattered around the cave though, but Mira's auto heal after every match helped give me the courage to take on the trainers gatekeeping those items. A TM for Double Team, a Focus Band for some potential frauding, a Green Shard, Mira's Crimson Ribbon, a Dust Stone, wait, I think that last one was important. After escorting Mira back out with her ribbon, she gives me the TMs for Dazzling Gleam, which not only gives me some fairy moves to distribute across my team, but it lets me complete that one side quest with the idol in Eterna City's Pokemon Center. My dream has been realized, thank you ever so much, trainer. Oh, and that's how the Jirachi comes in! I gotta go help some people around the world! Jirachi is one of the many legendaries and mythicals you can find in Renegade Platinum. It's pretty infamous for its Serene Grace boosted Iron Head flinches, and it's also a Steel type. Some of the trainers you have to talk to for the side quests are pretty straightforward, but others can get pretty specific. So whenever I encounter them, I'll bring it up. Most of these are actual Pokemon requirements, so if I get lucky with my encounters, I can open up the opportunity to get a very strong encounter. I grinded some new team members to be on par with the rest of my other mons, brought back Mr. Beast to take advantage of having 2 Steel types on the team, and evolved it thanks to Oreburgh's close proximity to one of the Mount Coronet entrances.
Mister! Wait for it! Beast!
But the Oreburgh entrance wasn't where I was supposed to go. Where I actually was supposed to go was the one right above it near cycling.
Hey!
It's just you.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's cool. This is cool. It's cool. I was just at Wayward Cave dealing with stuff, so just a little jumpy is all.
Oh, Wayward Cave! Did you catch anything cool while you were there?
Yes.
Nice! That's cool.
So, did you need something?
Yeah, I just wanted to have a battle. You know, just a friendly little test. Wanted to show you how my Pokemon are doing and all.
Oh, yeah. The Piloswine and Granbull and stuff, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, things got pretty dicey last time with that level advantage. But now I think I should be able to, you know, give you an actual match. Dawn? You look a little tense.
I'm sorry about this.
Alright, Fantastic and Hopeless. Hopefully this fight goes well. Okay, there's the Piloswine. I was thinking of amnesiaing it, but no, your team is entirely physical. Takedown. Unfortunate miss, but like, yeah, that was gonna happen. Ice Shard. Okay, we know the last two moves. Dude, another miss. I hate Aqua Tail. Yeah, ever since I learned this was a physical attacker, I've never been the same. That does double. Yeah, that's a lot still. Wow. Ooh, now we avoid the attack. That's really nice. Ice Shard. Oh, the crit. Oh my god, I'm getting hacks like crazy here. Okay, that's the lead done. They have different teams. Dawn's Clefable was ruthless. I thought the Granbull was one thing, but getting Encore locked into Amnesia to try and fight back its powerful Fairy Stab was awful to deal with. I got so many Encore turns, and I was slower than the Clefable, so I just had to pray that I could just outlast its onslaught of attacks. I was so confident going into this fight that this battle threw me off my balance, until eventually, the inevitable happened. That was avoidable, by the way. I played with my food there. Once I sent out Mr. Beast, though, I made some insane plays that helped me get KOs on the Prinplup. Into the electric type, though, what were you thinking? And Dawn's second special Mon, Lopunny. Nice jump kick miss. Also, looking back on this now, I was really thrown off my game by this team, because staying in on a potential jump kick was not worth the value of paralysis. And even when Dawn's back was against the wall, her Clefable continued to demonstrate what kind of a terrifying foe this was. That's not enough. Oh, the poison though? On top of Moonblast, it gets Moonlight for recovery. It has Cute Charm to burn even more opportunities for me to attack, and then Thunder Wave for even more disruption. Like, I think I preferred the Granbull actually. But the reason I was able to make it out was thanks to Torna leaving it badly poisoned, and then stalling it out. It was a war of attrition from there, and I just needed to time my hits between Moonlights just right to make it out of the Dawn fight. But this is where the cracks started to show. So there goes both my Water Absorb and Volt Absorb Mons. This run so far has been pretty careless at times. Sometimes it has been rewarding for thinking outside of the box, and other times I get heavily punished for going back inside of the box and forgetting to look outside. The split only gets tougher from here though, with 2 more boss fights remaining until I get my 3rd gym badge. So I needed to start making some smarter plays if I wanted to catch back up to the progress I made in my 2nd run. So I couldn't look back now. I had to keep going. Zane comes back onto the team as I finally enter the other entrance to Mount Coronet. I meet Energy Man again.
I am Energy Man. You. Have I seen you before? I think the world sucks, and you guys are at fault. Goodbye.
I encounter a shiny Bronzor. Oh! It's just like my first shiny. There we go. Fight the trainers on Route 208 with little to no issue. Oh! I forgot, I skipped this guy. Snuck around this black belt for the Swords Dance TM. Auto-piloted so hard, I lost my Route 208 encounter. That was my Heart Homeside encounter, right? Stole the berries outside of the Berry Master's house, collected the odd keystone from this black belt in the corner, fought the Smeargle trainer and almost forgot how bad its offenses are. What?! Oh my god, thank god Smeargle has like no attack. So I'd say the run is picking back up. And with the route cleared of any potential jump scares, it's time to prepare for Aaron. because of course the split isn't over. Now, I decided to bring Hex along for this fight because it matches somewhat well into Aaron's team. It has flying type coverage for the simpler matchups it can handle, can 1v1 Venomoth, and if worse comes to worse, it's a tempo sacrifice. I also bring Christo back onto the team for more options against his bug army. And most importantly, I make sure to keep both of my steel types on the team, having learned my lesson about not having proper pivot mons for important fights. And with the team set and prepared, it was time to take on Aaron. Unfortunately, my substitute lead idea doesn't work as well as I'd hoped, with Dustox starting off with a Bug Buzz. Of course, the turn after is when it doesn't decide to attack me, although it turns out that didn't matter as I got to enact my first trick. Setting up Stealth Rocks on a free turn like this was incredible momentum on a mono bug opponent, meaning they would take 25% of super effective damage on entry, assuming they were, well, super effective. With Torna having done his job, it was time to go on the offensive. Aaron goes for a greedy triple protect, which means I get 2 free turns to switch in and set up substitute again, meaning I was in a perfect position to create as much breathing room as possible for any errors that would inevitably come considering how this run is going. Now, Aaron for some reason is also having a bad run today, I guess, because he just cannot stop going for protect. This only gives me even more momentum to begin attacking, and reveals its leftovers item for my sheet of notes. By the time Aaron started locking in, it was too late, and Munch is able to take the next 2 KOs after dodging an Energy Ball crit from the incoming Beautifly. Venomoth is next, which wasn't a switch I was expecting here, but I didn't let it faze me. I played it slow for leftovers recovery, as well as to scout what Aaron was cooking up in that quad protecting brain of his. However, the pivot to dodge Venomoth's powerful Bug Buzz attacks resulted in me giving Aaron some momentum back to his side with an unfortunate Sleep Powder. And this is where Hex comes in, dodging a crucial Sleep Powder, which allows it to swing momentum back into my favor. But in comes the ace, Aaron's Drapion. Drapion, unlike its pre-evolution, is not a bug type and only looks like one. While I don't get as much out of my rocks as I would like, the chip damage does help a little bit, but this Drapion has the potential to completely sweep my team if I'm not careful. Swords Dance, Night Slash, and Cross Poison means that not only can it set up and deal massive damage, it also potentially has the ability Sniper, an ability that boosts critical hits by 3 times the damage instead of 2. This could snowball out of control if I don't do this right. And staying in his Hex was incredibly risky since I didn't see an angle to 1v1 it safely. It gets outsped, it doesn't kill reliably from this range, so I calculated my options because I wanted to see if I could use this as my tempo stack. With a heal turn, I could heal my only remaining steel type that doesn't have to play around a status condition. But this would only work if Aaron doesn't see room to Swords Dance. And I've seen that quad protect, I know he's crazy enough to try it! At a worst case scenario, I had deduced it was a range for Butterfree to die. But if Aaron saw the kill, I only hoped it would take the bait and the knockout as well. So I took the gamble. Now, watching this back, I realized I got really lucky. Burn nulling the Swords Dance buff back to keeping that Drapion's 90 attack in check where it belongs, risking a substitute for practically no reason, putting myself at risk to Bullet Punch crit. But honestly, I think I needed this one. Nope, that's the wrong. That's not the right, that's the wrong script! At last I finally made it to Hearthome City, meaning I only had one more boss before I could finally put this nightmarish split to rest. This gym has a lot of trainers roaming around, so preparing a good team in advance before I was locked inside was important. One thing I really wanted to get was a Gyarados, since that encounter was so helpful in my first run versus Fantina. And since I delayed a couple route encounters, some of which were not on purpose, I had good odds of pulling the Magikarp. I went to Twin Leaf Town first, but I get a Poliwag instead of the Orange Fish. Sadly, my Route 218 encounter wasn't lucky either, and I got a Finneon. And then I proceeded to forget all about my other delayed encounters like the lake in Eterna City. So here was my backup plan. I was mainly afraid of Fantina's Gengar here, a fast special attacking nuke that threatened my bulkiest mons. But there was one line that I found that was so crazy, it might just work. Because we're about to PP stall this Gengar. The only known moves I have on it are Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, and Will-O-Wisp, meaning that I could beat a guaranteed Sludge Bomb with Tangela, and then utilize Noctowl's normal type with a Steel type partner to keep switching into their respective immunities. The only issue I saw here was that I didn't know Gengar's 4th move. It could be Thunderbolt, Or it could be Spite! Noctowl also gets access to Psychic type attacks, so I can hit the Gengar back for some super effective damage once I get that opening. Pair that up with Guts boosted knockoffs, a great lead into Drifblim, and Aerodactyl's lightning fast coverage with Crunch. I felt pretty confident in this line. I see absolutely no issue, and there is absolutely nothing I could have forgotten to take into consideration. Once we enter the gym, we cannot leave, so we have to be careful about it. Okay. Sadly, the route to Fantina wasn't as clean as I would have hoped, as I get sniped by an ace trainer in the second room. It is here, however, that I forgot something. I still have the XP code! Oh no! Back when I started Nuzlocking Renegade Platinum in 2020, using infinite rare candies was not a commonly used strat, and I would usually just grind the old-fashioned way. However, I did use XP multipliers to facilitate the task somewhere along the line, which I ended up forgetting about with the 5-year break during Run 2, because of the convenience of a later feature. So I started using that halfway into this run when I realized I forgot I needed to actually turn it off when I wasn't grinding. Now, if this was any other Nuzlocke, this would most definitely void the run because I'm over-leveled and all that. But at the same time, it's really funny, so I'll allow it. Besides that, the route to Fantina was clear, and it was time for the mandatory selfie with Gym Leader Fantina. Okay, here's the line. You can discharge here. There's the Calm Mind. It is a guaranteed 2 HKO, but I know it's because Drifblim doesn't see a kill with anything. It is... Oh, that's fine. I'll take the turn. That's okay. That's okay. The Baton Pass? On what? Oh. Oh. And it has lefties. Okay, that's information. That's information. Spadef drop is really nice. Shadow Punch, that's fine. Bayonet comes out. All I know about it is Shadow Claw. Does Bayonet get Fire Fang? I just don't think I want to switch into this. It does Shadow Claw me. Okay. Knockoff. Muscle Band. Oh. I can Sleep Powder it. Oh, nice. Oh, it has Insomnia. Okay. That's fine. I feel like that does more damage now for some reason. Okay. We might be able to bait the Gengar out here, which is great. Drifblim comes out. Does this kill? No way! But I think we go back into Magna Zone here. Yep, predict the switch here, maybe? No, it might Calm Mind. I can't let it set up. Not again. Shadow Ball, that's the last move. Ooh, that's some bad damage, actually. So it doesn't run Ominous Wind. Come on, that's like the Fantina special. Vanna comes back out. We know it doesn't do anything against Miso, so I think we pull it out. Yeah, Shadow Ball. Oh, wow, that still does a lot. Okay, I actually did not think it was gonna Shadow Claw into that again. Gengar finally comes out, and now the triple core is online. With Gengar switching into the easy knockout on Miso, I begin the PP stall. Excellent. Wait, what? No, they changed its type. Despite everything I thought I learned and prepared for with this run, this was the moment I realized Fantina had all the momentum for her own snowball. With a full HP Gengar on the field, an incoming Shadow Ball that I could not stop comfortably, and 2 more Fantina's Mons in the back pocket, including her ace, I was screwed. I don't think anything else wants to switch into this. I think we sack Noctowl here. Oh, it goes for Gleam. Okay. Okay, that's fine. I could have healed. Crunch? Oh my god, insane miss. Very nice. This Magus comes out. This thing has Power Gem and Gleam. So what I'm thinking it does here is it Power Gems me? It Calm Minds. Okay. I can't let it set up. Not again. That kills? No, let's not have another Gardenia situation again here. Oh, goes for the setup. Crit! Oh! And it's Citrus. It is now out of range of Flash Cannon. And it crits. You know, insult to injury, man. Damn it. Power Gem, range to kill. Yep. That might be a wipe. Unfortunate. There was a lot to learn from this run. From its high highs and low lows. Even with the Gengar slip-up, my team was tapped into hyper-offense, and not leaning into that during the Miss Maggie's Jasper 1v1 was one of the main aspects that led to my loss. If there's anything I can add to the cause of deaths for Nuzlockes, it's definitely panic switching. Sometimes you just want to keep this mon alive no matter the cost, which ends up creating more mistakes until it becomes too big to recover from. Because guess what? Jasper could have still lived at +2, meaning way before it even revealed Calm Mind, I could have saved this run. To be fair, it was a very small range at this point, but think about the possibilities if I just attacked. It really does sting having to redo everything up until this point. But I think losing my Beldum to a random grunt at the start of this split was the writing on the wall that this run might not get to be the one. The situation with Dawn, and then honestly even Aaron I could have lost if I didn't get lucky with Christo. The one thing keeping my head held high for run 4 is that I managed to fill up a ton of my team sheets, meaning I can hopefully make some more informed plays going into the next run. In a way, losing this early is kind of freeing. I had so much pressure with how far I got in run 2 that getting my worst run yet is kind of refreshing in some weird way. Like, a majority of the pressure is off. And my early game has only gotten clearer with all of the information I've accumulated. Flame Orb Covet, Leftovers Munchlax Tree, even more boss trainer information. This run wasn't useless at all. And I think that's one of the most fun parts about playing hard Nuzlocke games blind. It's less about the destination and more about what you can learn from your mistakes along the way, until you overcome those mistakes for that one special run. Because the next time I see that briefcase, I'll be sure to carry all that I've learned with me. And when I get ready for run 4, it won't just be the run, I'll make sure to do my damn best and play the best Pokemon that I've ever seen.